People keep calling male loneliness an epidemic, like something new just broke in the last decade. But if you zoom way out male, loneliness starts to look less like a modern glitch and more like an old baseline. Not because men are meant to be alone, not because connection is impossible, but because, historically, most men were never guaranteed a seat at the table of marriage, family, legacy, or even community status. And the uncomfortable part is this: modern culture didn't invent the gatekeeping. It just changed the interface. Here is the historical reality that often gets distorted online into a meme. Only 40% of men passed on their genes. Now, that exact number is debated, but the underlying pattern is not. Across long stretches of human history, men had higher variance in reproductive success than women. This means fewer men fathered children, while more women did. Genetics research often discusses this as differences in effective population size between males and females. There is a particularly striking signal in Y chromosome data, a bottleneck in male lineages several thousand years ago, likely tied to cultural changes that increased male-male competition. Or that women were hoarding men. It means that across generations, reproductive success was concentrated often in men with status, resources, or power, and that shows up in our genetic record. So, if your modern brain expects love, marriage, and family to be the default setting, history is here to tell you. For a large share of men, it never was. So let's talk about the systems worldwide that controlled who got wives, who got families, and who got left out. System 1. Polygyny and elite capture. In many societies, the formal structure allowed some men, often older, wealthier, higher status men, to have multiple wives, which mathematically produces extra unmarried men. Even when it's limited, it can still concentrate marriage opportunities at the top. System 2. Bride price, dowry, and marriage as an economic license. In large parts of the world, mariachi T, primarily about romance, it was a transfer of wealth, labor, and alliances. If you couldn't pay, inherit, or be sponsored, you simply didn't marry. That is structural exclusion, not personal failure. System 3. Inheritance rules. If land, craft rights, or household authority only moved through specific lines like firstborn sons, then many men became permanent juniors, working, fighting, and laboring, but not founding their own families. And System 4. Enforced monogamy with delayed marriage and celibacy. Even in places we associate with monogamy, there were strong guardrails. The European marriage pattern often meant later marriage and a meaningful minority who never married at all, especially when a household required resources before it could be formed. Across all these systems, the average man wasn't promised a partnership. He was screened. So why does it feel like a new epidemic now? Because modernity changed the distribution mechanism. We moved from village life where men had default roles, shared labor. Historically, if you didn't marry, you might still have a place in a guild, a farm crew, a religious order, or a military unit. Today, many of those institutions are weaker, and the replacements are fragile. Jobs you can lose, cities where no one knows you, an algorithmic attention that feels like community but isn't. And here is the key claim. The old gatekeeping didn't vanish, its logic just became a cultural norm. Be established first. That's elite capture, modernized into winner-take-most status markets. Turning partner choice into a visible marketplace where repeated exclusion feels like public proof of inadequacy. So loneliness isn't merely a personal issue. Now, if male loneliness is partly natural, that does not mean it's inevitable, justified, or good. It means the baseline without intentional structure is often disconnection for many men. So the solution isn't nostalgia or resentment. It is rebuilding what used to buffer men from isolation, durable male friendships that aren't just community obligations that create belonging without requiring romantic success. An economic stability that reduces the "you must be established to be lovable" trap. New is pretending it is an individual defect instead. We need a better architecture for connection. Thanks for watching.